We first meet Jesse's parents during a moment of vulnerability. He's spinning out, he's scared, and yet he still runs home. So that says something, right? You can see that they have a really nice house too, which is surprising considering how Jesse lives. You know, like on the floor, on blankets, sleeping bags, and even when it opens up with this episode, it's like, who the fuck are these people? Sitting there at the dinner table all neat and bored, this would probably kill Jesse, having to be forced to behave and conform and sit down like this, having no originality of his own. It just feels oppressive and suffocating, like looking at it. And we know it because of his creativity and with his drawing and art, even the way he handles some of his problems. So the whole thing comes down to the elephant in the room, which is the pressure of never being good enough. You can see here that he still remembers how to set a table, indicating that these are higher upper class, those type of people, but he knows it's just the standard that they expect. Now, the whole debate among fans is, was Jesse's parents dicks for kicking him out? It's easy to be biased towards Jesse because we follow him as a relatable one. We sympathize with him, and we know that he got kicked out for his, quote, drug use.
How many chances have we given you?
What does that even mean, though? I mean, I highly doubt he was throwing parties and snorting cocaine in the bathroom, and his canon mentioned that he got into weed during high school.
Now give me a D and shut up so I can go blaze one with my boys.
So, like most of us who probably found school boring as hell and insufferable, there's no doubt that he spent time smoking weed with Badger, Pete, Emilio, or whoever.
Well, who introduced you to Crazy 8?
Emilio, that's only because I knew him from like 3rd grade.
Now, I don't know about you, but kicking someone out over a little weed is a little extreme. When we hear, quote, they kicked him out for drugs, we think of him as he is now, shooting up, waking up to hit the pipe. But at this point, I'm sure he was into the stuff most dumb teenagers do.
Your BMX accident, yeah, we're real worried about you.
And I know he was a bad kid. We all know this.
We were at Anthony's doing whippets.
They don't let us forget that. But when you need to teach a kid a lesson, you let them spend the night in jail, not kick them out. A lot of times parents always threaten to do that. Like, oh, well, you're under my house, it's my rules. If you don't like it, go live somewhere else. And all that. But sometimes you need to let kids be kids and not force them into piano practice and etiquette lessons and essays or whatever the fuck.
Decided to, make your eldest son homeless? Wow! Great family, Mom!
Why are you like this?
There comes a time when every teenager starts rebelling against their parents anyway, but this time it's almost warranted. You can tell they're just so damn naggy.
I could wash those clothes if you'd like. They look a little lived in.
It seems like he's probably stayed away from home a lot to avoid them, probably bitching about his grades, or the data analysis stuff that he definitely wanted to do.
Dad. Hey, Dad. Yeah, data entry like we talked about.
And hanging out with people like Badger and Pete, it's just probably a whole lot more funner. I mean, they were bad influences to start with, so this led him to start hanging out with the wrong people, like Emilio, who was probably the one who got him into cooking. So our biggest clue in this debate comes from Jake. When Jesse visits, he actually looks proud of Jake's accomplishments, but Jake is already knee-deep in the same grind, sitting in his room, writing an essay, wearing a sweater vest, like a uniform of conformity. And when the weed gets discovered, Jesse isn't even shocked, because he knows what's up. He knows the pressure, the need to escape. He's already used to this pressure never being good enough, no matter how much he accomplished, and Jesse already found that out the hard way.
Like, oh, we can't let that scumbag warp the mind of our favorite son.
I'm the favorite?
He knew it would never be possible to make them happy. It's the most telling, though, when the weed is found, because it's proof that they're doing the same exact thing and sending him down the wrong path by being too overbearing. Rebelling and avoiding the pressure is the same exact way Jesse started probably sneaking blunts in himself. So he wasn't surprised, but he's so proud of his potential, he doesn't want him ending up the same way he did. It's like a freaking roadmap if he keeps it up. There's another powerful scene where after Jesse is clean and sober, when he leaves rehab, where he's trying to rebuild his life a little bit at a time. He stops by his old house and his parents are there, and immediately the look on their face says, oh God, not this guy again. Like it's not even their own son. Like, what?
What?
And something else that's very striking is the sticker on the back of their van, and it only shows 3 members. For someone who's supposedly the favorite, they sure pretend like he doesn't exist. The dad even says,
You're looking healthy.
and this is the make or break moment right here, where Jesse asks,
I could come by sometime.
while he was rebuilding everything else, he couldn't rebuild this.
Sometime.
The core of why all of it started in the first place. My heart breaks when you see the expression on Jesse's face, and props to Aaron here, because you can literally see the moment when he realizes, like, oh, I'm not wanted here. Message received, got it. If this went another direction, everything might have went uphill from here when it comes to his family, but this was like the ultimate bridge burn from their end this time. I don't care what happened in the past, like if your kid comes back like this, you should not give them a cold shoulder here and turn them away. Again, I don't blame them for being cautious, but this is your family, bro. All this leads into his dynamic with Walter and the need to always prove himself as good enough, because it's like ingrained in him.
We'll just do it again until we get it right.
Because Walter was the one to always, as a teacher, recognize potential in people and guide them. So he naturally latches on to teaching Jesse in moments.
Separated by an electrolyte, right? Right.
Because he genuinely enjoys teaching, and Jesse was someone with potential. I like that it always shows both of them at the same time. And so at the same time that we know Jesse is shown to have potential and he could learn, Walt is also seen unsatisfied with teaching his classroom because his kids are so uninterested in what he's saying. But he can generally teach Jesse as if he's teaching a son. So Walt becomes this new authority figure, the one Jesse tries to impress because he never could impress his own family. But instead of love, he gets backhanded praise, criticism, manipulation. And Walt does see Jesse's potential, but he twists it into control when he realizes this weakness of his, even if it's not like a conscious thing.
Why him? Because he does what I say.
So besides the whole children being his weak point, which probably also leads back to that in the first place, is that he never got enough attention as a kid also. His need for approval stems from this, which is also his greatest weakness. I don't blame anyone for the choices of someone else though. Jesse took his own path and made his own choices. But I do blame parents because you're never supposed to give up on a child. If they hadn't been so hard with the pressure, he might not have as rebelled as so much, which might not have led him working with the wrong people, which led to something else. And I'm definitely not saying because his parents were a little strict, it condones everything he's done. But in this show, the domino effect is very strong here, and if he hadn't started with weed, which he might not have got started at all if he hadn't been felt pressured, so I don't know. It's very easy to give up when someone gives up on you. Without the support of a parent, the child feels lost, which is why he got so upset when Walt was yelling that he's worthless and such, because he's probably used to hearing that disappointment. And I remember being a teenager, the angst and all that. Like Jesse, I was really into art, and that was my dream. I never needed to study. I loved essays. They even put me in AP classes. For those who don't know, that's advanced placement. It's like early college courses you could take to get credits before you actually get there, and they're harder. But I used to be, a very good kid. I used to think, let me just do my work, and because it's what I'm supposed to do. But then when I kept bringing up the idea of college to my poorish / middle class single dad, I always got shut down with we don't have money for that, and that was it. College wasn't even on my radar. They deleted it from my option. My whole demeanor changed. I thought, what's the point of even trying so hard if this is as far as I'm going to go? My AP teacher asked, who's going to college? And everyone raised their hand but me. And someone said, why are you taking this class if you're not going? That's just stupid. So I started getting snappy and depressed a lot. I skipped class constantly. I snapped at my teachers once, which I would never have done. I stopped going to school. I stopped caring about my grades unless what I needed to pass, C's or D's would get me through it. I'm like, that's fine. Even with art, I was told that it's nice, but I needed to pick a real job, one that was stable and safe. So I felt like I couldn't even do what I loved anymore. And the thought terrified me, being locked into some desk job. Luckily, the only difference here is that Jesse fell in with a bad crowd, and I didn't. I kept to myself because I didn't trust anybody. Peer pressure is no joke. Everybody's always trying to get you to do something. So it's very easy to understand how someone can give up on their schooling when the parents give up on them. It's a very common thing. That's enough of personal share time. But I'm just saying how relatable it is in a situation it's a tough time for kids in school, especially high school, because they're very impressionable and their direction sort of depends on their life from there. They need guidance at this point, and Jesse definitely didn't have that. I want to fast forward to El Camino, where the movie did its justice in giving Jesse his chance at freedom. But what I want to address here for this particular video is that if he really hated them so much, he wouldn't have called them as a last goodbye kind of thing. It's also great writing because it shows us that he's still doing this mischief to his parents, to lure them away so he could sneak in and steal. But it's really touching to see that he still cared enough to even call them. And I can't decide if turn yourself in is the worst advice I've ever heard or the best. They're saying that because they're scared of what's going to happen to him, but they're okay with seeing him in jail for potentially the rest of his life. If that was my son, I don't know. I mean, I think I'd want to help no matter what, just because it's family.
Never give up on family. And I didn't.
So at the end of the day, Jesse's a character shaped by rejection. First from his parents, and from the world, and but also from the people who were supposed to guide him when he needed it the most. He didn't become who he was because he was evil or hopeless. I don't know. I mean, his parents, it's kind of 50-50. I don't think they were perfect, but they definitely tried. And Jesse was no walk in the park, and they didn't know how to handle it. They're the kind of people who follow the rules, do everything right, and still miss one thing that their kid really needed the most, which was their unconditional support. They weren't evil, but they definitely weren't great either. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment. And until next time.